This is a message from your guides reading for the Andromedan star being. All right, so the same two group crystals, my sodalite and my zoisite, still using those. And then I have also green fluorite here. So this is also for the group. And then for your reading, I pulled this peacock ore here. I'm not sure if I've pulled this for your readings or not before, but this has all of the different color variations. There are so many different colors in it, as you can see, so it tends to represent all of the chakras. And cleansing them, harnessing them, basically anything to do with chakras, working with chakras, cleansing chakras, opening chakras, closing chakras, whatever you need. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and use this peacock ore to surround us in some protective space. Okay, well that's an improvement going on there, Ms. Andromedan. So it feels like, I'm not sure how to describe that. There's this energy that's coming down, that's passing through all of your chakras now. So it's passing through the root chakra as well. So this feels very grounding, which in a lot of your readings, I know you will probably remember that you have had grounding come up as an issue a lot of times. So this is the first time where or probably the first time anyway, where I'm mentioning that in like a positive way. But there is like this kind of stabilizing factor now happening with your energy field, which is really different, really noticeable. And there's something passing from not even your crown chakra, it feels like even higher than that, somewhere up there in the stratosphere, and it's kind of passing down through. So something's being implemented, probably some ideas or an idea that you've had for a very long time. Something's becoming more concrete now. And you're just becoming a bit more stable. Some kind of goal, some kind of vision is materializing more. It's stepping more into manifestation. So you're seeing some kind of goal realized. And this is a very stabilizing factor in your life right now. So your chakras are kind of coming more into harmony. I also feel like just this grounding factor, it's almost acting like a magnet. So your chakras are feeling like they're coming a lot more into alignment. So this going on there is almost like preparation even for Kundalini activation or different things like that. I don't really feel like that's the goal with this, though. I don't even feel like that really matters, but there's definitely, and it doesn't have to go that route necessarily. It doesn't have to go the route of a Kundalini activation, but different things can happen. You're definitely able to have all kinds of different types of activations right now, so it would really depend on what exactly you need, what exactly your guides are going to be sending. They might end up just sending a whole lot more kind of creative ideas down and things like that. And some of it, maybe you don't need them right away, or maybe they're not meant to come through immediately, because this almost feels like kind of a resting, recharging kind of period for you a little bit. So some of the energies that they're going to be sending probably does have to do even with recharging. But I feel like they're probably even going to send just concepts and things like that down now, help you implement some things. So until you need them, they might be more in your subconscious a bit. But then once you really take hold of this new energy, you're ready to step more into action again versus this kind of resting period, which you need right now, then it feels like more of those ideas are going to be coming into consciousness, and you're going to be stepping into those more. Some of your beliefs are also kind of changing a bit. This doesn't feel like so much conscious beliefs, though. I don't feel like your conscious beliefs were necessarily so much in the way ever. Even if you knew that you were kind of giving into some doubts consciously as well, still, I feel like you knew that you needed to fix them. It wasn't like your conscious mind was agreeing with them. You were attempting to combat them is what it feels like. So you weren't agreeing with them, but they were kind of stuck there in your subconscious mind. So you had some kind of cycles and things that you were dealing with, and they would kind of rear their head in your conscious mind. But really you were dealing with them on a subconscious level. And so not all of those you're necessarily going to be aware of all the time, just because your conscious mind didn't really conflict with that. So when they change subconsciously, it might just come out like you manifest things a bit faster, because we tend to manifest not just from our conscious mind, but even more so in a lot of cases, not always, but in a lot of cases from our subconscious mind, but always at least equally. You're manifesting with your subconscious too, at least equally with your conscious mind, but a lot of times even more so with your subconscious mind than your conscious mind. Okay, so now they're talking about this question that you had, this age thing. So yeah, this is something that's always come up, this idea of rushing, not being patient, needing to kind of get things rolling and get things happening kind of too quickly in a sense, like quicker than you were really ready for in some cases. You know, sometimes it's like a revelation needs to happen, like before you didn't really know what you wanted to do. And that was fine for the moment there. And so when you were pushing, you would just end up going into wrong directions in a sense, because you didn't really know what you wanted yet. So pushing was just not ideal at that moment. And of course, they're saying that pushing is never ideal. You want to be going with the flow. Sometimes the flow is saying to rest, though, and sometimes the flow is saying to be more action-oriented. So right now, obviously, it's saying to rest, but still, once you become more action-oriented, you do have an idea as to what you're going to be focused on. What career you want to go into, what you're building up, and all of these different things. Okay, but before they get into that more, so your guides are just throwing out there, though. They're saying that the fashion and these different things, your guides are still looking at those things as more side types of things. They're saying they understand the focus on those and they can help you, but they don't want you to lose track. They don't want you to stop doing YouTube videos and things like this because they're saying that subscribers will really help you. That will help you the most with everything, with building an audience for all of your stuff. So then whatever kinds of avenues you take, it's like you have this kind of core audience. And so then whether it's spirituality or it's fashion or it's anything, still you have this core foundation of those subscribers. So that's what they're saying that you need to build up, and not to forget about that, vision of what you want to create, because they're saying that will really help you later on, even if it doesn't seem like it right now. That's really going to help you as you really build that up. But then as far as the age thing, that's like, of course, that's limiting. Because that's saying I have this certain time period in which I have to do this because of the fact that I'm aging, and that limits me. I can only do this up to this certain point. In other words, I need to do this more quickly. So yeah, these are all limiting beliefs. They're all negative. And the thing is, they actually slow you down because they cause you to push more. So you end up pushing against something more, rather than just realizing I'm young, I always will be, I have all the time in the world that I need, I have all the time in the universe that I need, in existence that I need. I don't have any lack. And that's the thing, is time can definitely be perceived as a lack. So if you lack time, that's definitely a very limiting thought. And then it doesn't allow things to grow properly. It can actually cause things it can actually stop things from manifesting. So it creates this resistance, because it's still this kind of lack mentality, even if it's coming out in a way where you wouldn't necessarily perceive it as that. You wouldn't necessarily understand immediately, oh, that's what that is, that's where that's coming from. But if you kind of stop and analyze it, then you can see that that's still coming from this lack mentality. It's that you lack you lack youth, you lack time, you lack youthfulness, so you lack like vitality and energy, you lack life, and you lack the ability to do certain things once you get past a certain point. So then there's this rush. So again, the lack of time. So they're saying that if you feel like you need to rush, then it means you feel like you have a lack of time. You don't have enough time. So it's a limiting belief. It limits you in the way of I don't have enough. Anytime there's a thought based in I don't have enough, whether it's time or it's youthfulness or it's money or it's anything, whatever it is. It can be friends, it can be connections, it can be a place to stay that's stable, it can be anything. But if it's coming from this thing of I don't have enough, this is a lack mentality. So it's very limiting. Whatever form it's taking, it really doesn't matter the form. Okay, so I'm going to do a little bit more clearing here. Okay, so I'm going to use my soda light. They're also bringing up love. They're also saying that even with that, you have this kind of lack mentality with the same type of belief, the same thought form. And so it attacks you in this other way as well. So it attacks you in other areas. It's not just this career thing. So again, it feels like it has to do with young. It has to do with age. And the fact that you don't have enough time, and so you want to rush that as well. But you really can't rush finding the right partner. You can't rush finding the right person. You know, when it's the right time, they just kind of show up, and before that, they're definitely not going to. So all you can really do is be in the right place at the right time, and the right time could really be any moment, but I don't feel like it's now. I feel like you have this has come up for you before as well. So it feels like you have some things to set up. You have some goals and different things that you want to manifest, and it feels like that really takes your focus. That really takes an ample amount of focus, and it feels like that idea, the love idea, it feels like you just need to kind of let that go, like let it go completely, because it doesn't feel like you're going to find the right person until you're actually stable, until you're really stable financially, because it even feels like they might come to you in some way, like through this outlet. Even if they don't come to you directly through that outlet, but they might come to you literally directly through this outlet in some way of your business. Or it might just be this somehow indirectly, maybe just your energy, once you're in that vibration, you attract it, or it could be both. But it might actually come directly through that even. So again, they're saying that you can't resist what needs to happen, because you actually end up slowing something down by needing to rush it. Whereas if you let it go and allow it the time that it needs, you won't slow it down by ending up wanting to like force things or push things, and so then ending up with other partners who aren't really partners. Obviously, they're almost like pretend partners in a sense, or they're really temporary. And maybe you like learn some lesson from them or something, but it doesn't even feel like it's that valuable. It's not something that you really need or that you've like contracted to have. It's just kind of you were pushing, and so then instead of ending up with the right person in the long run, you ended up in the short run with lessons that you didn't really need. And it feels like you're just going to end up breaking up with them. It doesn't feel like it's going to end up lasting. Or even if it did, it still wouldn't last for very long. You would still end up breaking up with them, it feels like, because their energy just doesn't really suit you. And it feels like once you really get certain things, once you have like a stable foundation, and you're more stable and more solid in your own energy, and you really know who you are, and you're expressing that authentically, you're putting that out physically as well, by how stable you are, by how financially free and independent you are, and all of these things that you want to manifest. Once you are at that stage, which won't take that long, but long enough for things to really happen, things to really change when it comes to your energy, your sense of yourself, your sense of direction when it comes to your life path, even things like friends and the types of vibrations that you pull into yourself. All these things are kind of in flux. All those things are going to be changing, and they're going to end up more solid. You're going to end up with energies, even friend-wise, that really suit you. Whereas now, here or there, you know, you meet some friends that you kind of get along with, but at the same time, they still don't feel really lasting in a way like they completely fulfill that kind of friendship need in a sense. As in, you like really vibe with them. And that's because it's like your energy is still kind of formulating in a sense. So you have to kind of allow that. It's like it's like you have to let something cook, you know? So if you take it out of the oven too fast, or if you take it off the stovetop too fast, it's not going to be all the way cooked. And it doesn't only feel like that. It doesn't just feel like cooked. It feels almost like, I don't know, almost feels like a sauce or something. Like if somebody's making like a pasta sauce or something, they're doing it from scratch. Like they tend to leave the pot there for like the whole day, you know, and they let it simmer. They let it cook really slowly. Not just because they want it to cook, it's more because of the herbs and different spices and things they put in there. They want it to, they kind of want all the spices and flavors to be absorbed in the sauce. And so you have to like allow that time to come out right. To come out tasting right. Otherwise, it's going to be bland. It's going to be bland, or it's not going to be cooked thoroughly or well enough, or cooked all the way through. Or it's not going to be hot enough. It's going to be too cold. You know, there are so many different things that can go wrong depending on the recipe if you don't put in the proper time and let it cook thoroughly and all the way. So you have to allow things time. And you can't allow things the time that they need if you have this belief in lack of time. You lack abundance in the way of time. And so then you just become impatient and you try and push for things that just aren't ready to be served yet. They're still cooking. You want things to be cooked thoroughly for them to be just right. Otherwise, there's going to be something not quite right with the mixture. And even preparing for it. You know, you have to study the recipe. You have to look at it. You have to make sure you have all of the ingredients. You have to make sure you use them right. You have to put them in with the proper amounts. And that's even what your guides are doing as well on their end. So even that takes some time sometimes on their end. So you have to allow things, and they're saying that that's really the big lesson for you to incorporate. The practice of allowing. This idea, this concept of, you know, taking a breather or taking a rest like you're going through now, or just allowing things to formulate, or even allowing things to be as they are, and not trying to change anything. Sometimes you just have to allow. Let something be stuck if it is, and then eventually it will just get unstuck on its own. Now, obviously, there are some times when you need to change something, but it doesn't feel like now is really one of those times. For instance, now is kind of this resting period. It's a short resting period. You're not going to be resting forever. You're not going to be resting for too long. But even once you get back into taking actions, it still feels like you're going to be taking it easy. You know, you're not going to be pushing. You're not going to be going against the flow. And now you can really see that you don't need to anyway. You can see how things are working out and how things are going to go, that things really are going in the direction that you generally want. And so you don't need to stress or strive anyway. Okay, so that is all that your guides have to say for this reading. So thank you very much for allowing me to do another one for you, and I will see you soon. Namaste.